Welcome to Women in Music and Arts. I'm your host, Sandy Castell. We're broadcasting live from Las Vegas every Wednesday at noon on KLAV AM 1230 on your dial and streaming online at KLAV1230am.com. Our show today is sponsored by members of Women in Music and Arts, empowering artists of all ages through education and mentorship. You can find out more about Women in Music and Arts by going to our website, wimafoundation.org. That's W-I-M-A foundation.org. Today my guests are the founder of the Cultural Diversity Foundation, Joni Flowers. Hi, Joni.
Hello, and thank you for having me here this afternoon.
Good to have you. I'm just going to adjust that a little bit for you. There
Okay.
you go. Uh-oh. And then also, Delivering Happiness Messenger, Amy Frost.
Woohoo!
And Amy goes by so many different titles.
I do.
We were
Depends on the time of day.
I know. But today for our show, as always, she is our Delivering Happiness Messenger, because she always starts us off with a wonderful message.
I'm really excited today. We've talked a lot about making things happen,
Yes.
you know, and using your art in everything that you do. And I'm almost frightening myself how things are happening. I'm going to talk a little bit more about it later. But we won the Oprah Magazine Awards.
Yay!
And which you're going to get one.
Thank you.
And Courtney's nominating me for one. Yay! More on that later.
Tell them what they're winning.
They're winning. Well, they're going to get recognition.
That's right,
Yay!
recognition.
For themselves and the cause that they support, and they're going to get a pair of Croc shoes. Yay! That they get to choose.
So
Very
tell us about Croc
exciting.
shoes. I mean, that's
It's a new program that they have. They call it Crocs Cares, and they had 100 women, 100 pairs of shoes, and you had to propose how you were going to, get that 100 pair of shoes. And I got this crazy idea that I wanted to have. Oh my goodness, 100 women with 100 causes. And they would, nominate themselves or have somebody nominate them, and then we'd pick them. And we're gonna give out the award on September 27th at our next nonprofit mixer.
And I'm so excited.
It's a big deal.
Because
It's
Wima's
a really
there.
big deal. It really is. I'm really excited to honor amazing women.
Well, thank you.
So I'm going to caution what I'm going to be talking about today, because I've been doing this stuff and all these crazy things are happening. So be prepared.
Okay.
So here, when you're prompted from deep within to do something, do not waste time wondering why you should do it, or if you should do it, or when you should do it. Simply take immediate action and do it, and count not the cost. You may not even see the outcome of that action immediately, but you can rest assured that you will at the right time.
I love that.
I know, that's us.
That is so us, so Wima. Oh my gosh, and Joni, I'm sure you concur with that. I mean, you're out there doing a lot of different things.
Oh, definitely. I
really
was just listening to Amy talk, and I think I've been getting your emails. Amy,
You have.
with the nonprofit. Oh,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
small.
And then also we have a caller in, and that's Andrea. Hi, how are you? Good. Now, don't you go by another nickname? Well, it's good to have you today on our show. And I don't know if have you met Amy before? Not in person?
Not
Okay,
yet.
well, you get a chance. And Joni? You guys haven't had a chance to meet. Okay, well, why don't you, since you're calling in, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, and then we'll talk a little bit more about what it is we're going to talk about today. Mm-hmm. That's great. And of course our topic has been for the past several weeks is the business of being an artist. And as a musician, like you said, you get an opportunity to work with a variety of different singers and other musicians and perform different styles of music probably too. Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, welcome to the show, and we're going to talk a little bit about the business of being an artist, but also because Joni's here, she's got an event coming up that she's going to be talking about. and it's an art event
Yes,
at
it
City
is.
Hall.
Yes, it is. It's part of our arts education program. It's called Looking Through the Eyes of the Beholder and Artist Vision, and we're featuring 8 artists, and the focus of that is the interpretation of diversity. So we have 8 artists who will be showcasing the various mediums that they use to create their art.
That's wonderful. And one of those artists, I believe, is a Wima member.
Yes, that is Nikki Sands, and
Yes.
we have Miguel Rodriguez, Adolfo Gonzalez, James Henninger, and Ernesto Chavez, Yobi Graciano, and Vicky Richardson.
Now, these sound like some of the artists that are with another organization. The artists, aren't they with another organization, some of these artists? Miguel
They may
and those
be
guys?
with the Artists Guild. I'm not sure
That
about
might
the
be.
other background.
Maybe, I think I may have met some of them there.
Okay, okay.
Yes, and what date is this coming up?
This is next Wednesday, September 12th, 5:30 to 8 p.m. at the Las Vegas City Hall, and I call it their grand lobby because it is absolutely spectacular.
In the grand lobby of City Hall.
Yes.
Okay, and also I understand that the mayor's going to be there.
Yes, we
to
will be
kick it off.
honoring Mayor Carolyn Goodman for her contributions
Mhm.
to the arts in Las Vegas.
That's great. That's great. Well, I know that both her husband and she have been, very
Major
involved in
contributors,
the
yes.
trying to really create that downtown area for the artist and give us that community
Absolutely, the
of
arts
the
and culture that centralizes our
outside of the
community.
Las Vegas Strip. of
Yes.
course. and it has been a challenge.
It has been a challenge, but I think it's also been rewarding. We have the Smith Center, and
Yes.
we have the various art exhibits that are also throughout the Las Vegas City Hall as well.
Yeah. So that's going to be wonderful. So next Wednesday, September the 12th.
Yes.
From 5:30 to 8:30 to 8 o'clock.
To 8 p.m.
8
Correct.
p.m. Okay. And Amy, gosh, this thing with the Crocs and the shoes and Oprah.
Yeah.
Now, Oprah's the one that put out the call for this or
Oprah
teamed
Magazine.
up.
Oprah Magazine,
yes.
and they're connected with Crocs,
Uh-huh.
Crocs Cares.
They
Yeah.
came together to do this.
They did.
And now we're looking for some of those women
We
now?
are, so
Okay.
we want to go to the nonprofitsectorfoundation.org website,
Okay.
and we have an easy breezy nomination. We want to know why that woman's amazing, and tell us about that nonprofit that she supports by donating, volunteering, somehow or other connected.
Who, why, what?
Yeah, it's easy breezy, my thing was all about, we've got all these amazing women that are stepping up and stepping out and doing their mission, and I want to thank them. And
That's
this way I
great.
get to do that.
And I see that we have 3 choices of what kind of shoes we want to pick.
Yes, you do. You can pick your shoe, pick the color, everything, and size, all that.
That's right, that's right. So I'm going
If
to
you're gonna step into your shoe, you wanna make sure it's the right one, like Cinderella. Correct?
That's right. That's
Gotta
right.
be the right
Make sure the
shoe.
shoe fits.
Exactly.
Well, we've got a lot of opportunities to make the shoe fit with Wima and through our organization, also through the various organizations that we've been able to team up with, and teaming up with you for this event next week. It's just we're really excited about it.
Well, I'm excited to be here and to be a part of your show,
Yeah.
and with Ann Parenti and the rest of the women of Wima.
Yeah, we have a lot of them. We're getting more. And Andrea, so now you're in town, and how long have you been here? Mm-hmm. But, so you're not actually in Las Vegas then yet? Okay. Uh-huh. So are you in the art scene out there in Los Angeles? I mean, with the piano playing and working with different artists? Well, who's that you're performing with? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Okay, and then, so how did you find out about Wima? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's great.
Her
They
time
found
has
us,
come.
They found us online. That's wonderful. Okay, so I guess we keep the website then, right? Well, good. Well, I hope that you get a chance to come in for one of our mixers or one of our events. We've got a music conference coming up in November. We're looking at a date of the November the 3rd, but that's going to be confirmed as we continue to work on this. But what we're doing is we're going to be bringing in different A&R people, publishers, producers, and artists. And we're going to have some of our local artists in there too.
Yay.
Yeah, so we're real excited about it. And it's going to be an all-day conference. So it'll be great. We'll have a keynote speaker. We'll have a concert in the evening.
You gotta have that.
That's right. That's right. So we're going to make sure that we are invited out to that. Okay. So we are Wima, Women in Music and Arts, empowering artists of all ages through education and mentorship. And this is our show, Women in Music and Arts, that we have every Wednesday. And we are broadcasting live from Las Vegas on KLAV AM 1230 and streaming online at KLAV1230am.com. We're going to take a brief pause for our sponsors right now. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Women in Music and Arts, and I am Sandy Castell, your host for today, and we're broadcasting live from Las Vegas every Wednesday at noon on KLAV AM 1230 and streaming online at KLAV1230am.com. Today my guests are founder Joni Flowers of the Cultural Diversity Foundation and also Delivering Happiness Messenger Amy Frost. So Amy, a couple weeks ago we started working on something that we were talking about. Networking.
And I have an assessment that has 8 different skill sets.
Right.
And we talked about the first one, which is knowing yourself.
Okay.
Know your values and your mission. Know that about your major accomplishments, your abilities and talents, and know what your short and long-term goals are. Because how are you going to get help if you don't know what you need and what you want?
It's very important, and we've talked a little bit about the left brain, right brain thing. You know, if we're really, if we're artists and we're very right brain and we're very artistic, sometimes it's challenging for us to take that leap and be business minded.
Absolutely.
So it's good to team up with other people
Mm-hmm.
that are more business minded when we're doing our projects, or to have them help us do some of the business elements.
And allowing the right teams to come forward. And as women, I think we kind of get stuck is that we start working with somebody in a project and we think it's forever. And it may be, but it may not be. I know.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. That is so interesting.
But we're not breaking up. Men are good at that. It's like they matrix for projects.
Yeah, but as partners in teams on different projects.
Exactly.
Like you said.
So in each project would need a different set of teams.
And sometimes you come together and you do certain things together, and then you may go your separate ways because you're working on other projects too, and which is all right.
Wrong. That's right.
That's right. So what is step number 2?
Well, it's really no steps, just kind of like
Oh,
overall.
okay,
But that's okay. You want some steps.
What
but
is that?
It's really a whole set of skills. And so when I want to talk about, I'll give you the assessment. We'll put it on the Wima site.
Perfect.
And then I will do a workshop or whatever for Wima members somewhere along the lines.
Yay!
I want to talk a little bit about leveraging your business cards. Number
Okay.
1, have a business card. Right?
Yeah.
And it's not about throwing business cards at each other, but how does that really represent you? Does that little piece of paper represent you? And of course, you got to have them with you everywhere you go.
Yes.
Have them in your purse, have them in
Plenty.
your briefcase, have them wherever that you are. Make sure that you have them, and make sure that they're current, and that they're professional, and they really represent who you are.
What do you think about pictures on business cards?
If that represents you, yeah, I think so. I have a logo on mine that represents me. I have a couple, and then I have one as the National Training Director for the nonprofit, Sector Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on the environment I am, it would depend on which card I would give, or maybe give both cards. So I think the bottom line is it needs to represent you and what you're trying to attract.
Okay.
So knowing who I am and what I wanted to attract, that card needs to represent that. And you can go Vistaprint. There's so many easy ways to get business cards.
If you don't have an iMac, you can go to Vistaprint.
Okay, then find another way.
I learned that.
Find another way.
But it is very good.
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely. And ask for other people's business cards.
Yes.
Don't just throw business cards to each other, but look for a connection. I feel like if there's not a connection, I'm not sharing a business card.
Mm-hmm.
But if there is, I'm going to. And what I recommend people do is on the back, you get their business card and you write where you met them and some facts about them, how many children they have, what kind of art they're interested in. And I encourage people to make a commitment of some kind. Like for me, it may be an article or a connection. And I write that down there, and I do that within 24 hours, whatever I committed to do.
Okay, good. That's a great one. I love it. So now we have the set of skills. The first ones we talked about were know yourself.
Know yourself.
And the next one is?
Use business cards for good, not evil.
Right. Use business cards. Now, and the other thing is when you get home with all those business cards.
Yeah, it doesn't do any good. I immediately put them into action,
Yeah.
and I have, put them into your database, or if
Right.
you don't do that, get somebody that does do
That's
that
right.
for you. And make it a relationship, and don't
Right.
waste each other's time.
Yeah.
If there's not a relationship there, don't hound them.
Right.
Stalking is good if it's the right person at the right time.
Andrea, or is it Andrea or Andrea? Andrea. Andrea, when you moved down to the United States from Canada, I'm sure networking was very important for you. How did you approach that when you moved here? Did you have business cards? There you go. So that's something that can open up a lot of other doors for you. Yeah, because it's something that is kind of your sales tool. You go, here's my card. Now, as you said, you use a lot of email addresses, so, and everybody's walking around with some kind of what is it called, PDA? We've all got a phone, we've got an iPhone or a BlackBerry or something like that. And a lot of times you say, okay, what's your email address? And then you just start communicating through emails. Also, as a singer, I know it is very important to go out and do that one-on-one where you go to their performances. So that's a great thing that you've been doing. And then also you're going to school. That is. Now also you mentioned that working with your teachers and things like that, and so there's a lot of mentoring that's gone on in your life, I'm sure, as a student of music. Right. Okay. So there. Go ahead. I think Amy's.
Well, and when they're reliable, so
Yes.
it's really important that you're a reliable person. You do what you say you're going to do, and
So
then
true.
they're going to. Amen. Right, I agree. And one other thing that you talked about, it's really important when you're doing that exchange with business cards, is to ask them what is their preferred channel of communication.
Right. Right.
Is it cell phone? Is it email? Texting, whatever.
I know, and it is a little confusing because sometimes I have people that want to be texted to, and others that do not use the texting, and they say, "Do not text me because I get it, but I don't really notice it. I prefer a phone call." And some people prefer to do the email because if they're making a lot of phone calls on their own themselves, if they're salespeople, which Jonathan Scott is a perfect example, okay? Jonathan Scott is on the Morning Blend shows on Friday mornings at 9 a.m. And he's also come on as one of our directors of media relations.
Okay.
And I'm learning a lot from him. But he likes to communicate by email primarily because during the day he's on the phone a lot. So he can't stop, pick up the phone, stop, pick up the phone. It's for him, you send him the email, he can get the information, and then he can respond back to you at his time.
Well, and I'm noticing a lot of people are Facebook communicators now.
Yeah.
Which I don't particularly like, but a lot of people are doing that.
I know, and I found that a lot of times they say, well, I reached out to you on
Facebook,
Facebook, you know, I sent you a message. I said, well, I'm not there every day, you know,
Right.
and it is tough to be.
So it's up to us to communicate to them that if you want me.
If you want me, call me. If you want
Right.
me, email. If you want me, text me. Whatever it is.
Right.
And because then they're waiting for an answer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if they don't get the answer and you're not responding, it's like, oh, well, you just ignored me.
And I'll go on to the
ring
next
your bell.
person.
Next,
Yep.
yes. So thank you, Andrea, for that. Joni.
Yes.
All right. So how did you get involved in what drove you to found this organization?
Well, for starters, I'm also a professor at the College of Southern Nevada. I teach for our education department, but through the 30 years that I've been employed there, I used to do outreach programs for the community. And at one point, a friend said, you know, have you ever thought about starting your own nonprofit organization? So I did the research, pulled my founding board members together, and voila, Cultural Diversity Foundation was.
Together, huh?
Oh, you can't hear me? Oh, sorry. And the Cultural Diversity Foundation was born.
Well, that's good. And what year was that?
That was in 2004, so we've been a nonprofit for 8 years now.
Okay. And are you national?
No, we're not.
Are you local?
We're local.
Okay. And do you have members of your organization?
No,
How
it
does that work?
isn't. Our major focus is on providing outreach to the community through educational programs. We offer classes in computer literacy, financial literacy, and college funding.
Financial literacy, I need to.
Was that right? We have a few members that probably should do.
And we also award over $12,000 to $13,000 in scholarships a year. So
That's
our
great.
major focus is education.
That's great. So now, when do you do your scholarships? When do you
We award the scholarships every May, and so we just announced our 2012 scholarship recipients, and they're excited. We gave them their stipends. And then we do an annual scholarship benefit, which is actually, it's in its 18th year. I started it before the nonprofit. And then we honor our scholarship recipients at the fundraiser, which is actually a wine tasting.
In May?
And this will be March 9th, 2000.
Oh, in March, okay.
2013. So the 2012 scholarship recipients are formally recognized at the event, but then the funds made from that will be awarded to the 2013 scholarship recipients.
Okay. Did you take notes?
I did. You know me, I got all kinds of notes.
You know, it's funny. We just started this organization. Well, I've been wanting to do it for a while, and then last year we started getting together in June, and we had a couple of meetings, and we talked about a few things, and then we really got started full force in January. And Ann Parenti is one of the, she's the vice president, and she's the one that teamed up with me, and we just started going around to a lot of meetings, and that's where I met Amy.
Okay.
Ross, who's on our advisory board.
Okay.
And, but I'm more of the right brain person.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm great with coming up with ideas, and let's do a performance, let's do a show, let's do this. But there's also a lot of elements to creating
most
a foundation
definitely.
that are very critical and very important, and
And a lot of work.
And a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a labor of love, is what I tell my friends.
And
it's
it
all
is.
about the passion.
It is. It really. You have to be passionate about it, because even though it's not, as I say, it's not all about me. It really isn't. But it does somehow revolve around my ambitions for
Absolutely.
Wima, and for my vision, and what I would like to see accomplished, and I'd like for it to grow and grow and grow. Obviously beyond me and beyond everybody else. So, but I think it's great what you're doing. So tell us a little bit again about your event that you have coming up next Wednesday.
Yes, next Wednesday, Looking Through the Eyes of the Beholder, an Artist Vision. We'll be showcasing the artwork of 8 artists. They'll be sharing their vision, talking about educational and career opportunities. We'll have wine, champagne, and appetizers.
That's great.
And live jazz. And live jazz.
Live
Hey.
jazz.
Yes, with the Brothers
Good.
Ali.
I like that.
And we will be there.
Great.
So we are going to take a short little pause. We are Wima, Women in Music and Arts, empowering artists of all ages through education and mentorship. And we're going to take a slight pause for our sponsors, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Women in Music and Arts, and I'm your host, Sandy Castell. We're broadcasting live from Las Vegas every Wednesday at noon on KLAV AM 1230 and streaming online at KLAV1230am.com. My guests today are founder of the Cultural Diversity Foundation, Joni Flowers, and Delivering Happiness Messenger, Amy Frost. Okay, now I keep saying that because I love that term.
Well,
for
and
you,
I do too. I honestly do, and I love the work that Delivering Happiness is doing.
And you want to tell us a little bit about that?
It started out with Tony Hsieh and his work with Zappos, and he had a best-selling book called Delivering Happiness. And then it became a bestseller, then it got a buzz, and then it was a movement, and now they have the website. So I'm one of their guest bloggers, and it's all about, true happiness. Mm-hmm. Not how much stuff you have, or, your title, or any of that stuff, but what is, really true happiness, and how do you get there.
And out of doing the blog, a lot of other opportunities came your way.
Oh my goodness, it's been really exciting. A lot of radio, a lot of TV,
mm-hmm.
A lot of my work being out there all over the planet. And for me, it's about helping people.
Well, that's good. I think it's really important to share happiness versus the other things. Some of the
Well, we've got a lot of people who are just
around.
very hopeless in our society today.
Yeah. We've gone through a lot of changes, a lot of challenges over the last several years. There's a lot of things with the economy.
Everything's upside down.
That's right. People are looking for something to make them feel good about themselves.
And I think we have the perfect storm right now, because now it's like you got to go make your own breaks. There isn't a choice.
Yeah. And as an artist, we have opportunities to touch other people in different ways, through music, through video, through through artwork. And I think it's up to us to do whatever we can to share our talents with the community and to do community outreach programs. Wima does a lot of that too. We do Baby's Bounty and Baptist Children First, and we've done things with Purple Wings, yes, and then with you, and then with you, Amy. And Nevada Youth Alliance.
Yeah, Nevada Youth Alliance. We love them.
Just had a big event, back to school event.
So I'm hounding David to find a woman to nominate for Nevada Youth Alliance. Yeah.
Oh, maybe the woman that.
We'll find her.
Yeah, we'll find one.
You know me. I ain't
anyway,
gonna give
you'll
up.
find somebody.
That's right.
Okay, so Amy, you wanted to talk about taking care of.
With back to your networking.
Yes.
And the critical skills that go with that. Another one is taking care of your relationships. Mm-hmm. And the one way to do that is acknowledge other people. And you're doing such a good job of that in supporting others. Give positive feedback immediately. We're so used to say, oh, you did that wrong, and you did that wrong. I don't need any more help with that. I can criticize myself so well. I need positive feedback. So
right
looking
away.
for that. And I hate that it's constructive criticism. Well, in your opinion. Yeah. Right?
It has the word criticism in there.
And constructive.
Yeah.
So I guess it makes it okay, but I don't buy it. It's just giving information on a regular basis, and then it's up to me to decide whether I do anything with it or not.
Okay.
And it's from as neutral and honest a place as I can.
That's right.
And you want to stay in contact with your networks. I know this is kind of old school, but actually cards. I mean, real cards that you put a stamp on and you handwrite. Oh my gosh, what a concept!
Oh my gosh, everybody's shaking their heads in the studio here.
I love getting them. I love giving them.
What?
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think it's an art, and I think we've kind of lost it. And whatever kind of art you are, include that in the card. Mm-hmm. A good friend of mine, she creates her own cards so she can send out. And finding ways that you can express, this is who I am through that, and show people that you really care about them.
Yeah, because people used to go to the mailbox to get that. They'd wait for that, wait for that. Now I know we have a lot of e-cards that are sent out. And they have different companies that do that.
I see. I don't even want to look at it.
Well,
that takes no effort.
Well, and there's different points of view on that.
No, this is me personally.
But this is right, and I think a lot of it's generational. There's everything. It's just like, I know my dad. He's actually online doing things, and he sends me emails every once in a while of musicians or singers.
Absolutely.
Or old cars for Harold. So they
right,
like the '57 Chevys. So he's actually doing something online.
But it makes you stand out. If everybody else is doing the email, the e-card, if you do something physically, it's like, oh, you really care about me.
That's what I mean. If you go to if you get something in the mail, it would be a surprise.
And this one, I think this is a tough one, how busy and insane we all are, but return phone calls and emails within 24 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, sooner if you can, but,
I know.
It's
and it, again, another thing to figure into your time during the day. And as an artist, we have to allow some time for our practicing and our skills that we are continuing to hone no matter how old we are, no matter how long we've been doing it. We must find time within our schedules, outside of all the other social networking, outside of all the other things we're doing.
What if you can remember
Yeah.
that's really self-care, right?
Yeah,
If you're
it
doing
is.
your art, whatever it is,
You
it
have to
feeds
book
you.
it. You have to
right?
book it.
Yeah.
Book the time
Yeah.
in your book. That's great. Andrea, you're still there? Okay, so give us some of your tips on some of the things that you feel like, based on what she was talking about, what Amy was talking about taking care of your relationships with your contacts, and how do you go about doing that? Well, I think the more that you cultivate that among the friends that you do meet and talk about those things, you know what I mean, and share your information that you have to share with them, and also by your habits of keeping in contact with them, and showing them that that's important. Maybe that'll rub off on them. But I understand. I lived in LA for 13 years. Yes. I've heard that when you are trying to cultivate relationships too with a lot of people in business, it is good to not always just call and say, hey, what do you have for me? What do you have for me? I mean, you may not say it that way, but if they always feel like the only time you're ever calling them is when you need something from them, then they get a little, so a lot of times it's good to just call and say, hey, I was just thinking about you, and I remember your daughter was going to do this, and and how's that going? Or I remember that, you lost your father last year or something, or something that's a personal note. So keeping those notes, like you were talking about, on the backs of cards.
It really, really helps, and you really, I look at everything as I'm creating a new friendship.
Yeah.
And you can't have enough friends.
It is a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think when we look at them as relationships, then we think about them differently too, don't you, Andrea? Yeah. And you too, Joni? Yeah. You've cultivated a lot of relationships through what you're doing.
Most definitely, and
yeah.
I was just listening to the conversation. I do think it's important that you reach out and touch the people who are lending a helping hand to you, your sponsors and so forth. I take hours to lunch, I call them and say hello. The little personal note that you send through post office mail, I think is really effective. It means that you've really taken the time to put that stamp on that little note card and hand them.
I think next time we need to do a thing on time management. And it's easy to say time management, but
No, it's
I,
about
for
how
one,
do you do it? I don't know.
I for one, do have a challenge with that. I mean, I get a little overwhelmed sometimes, I go to an event, I meet a lot of people. We just did that big event there, and I come back with a lot of cards, and I did make notes on them. I did make notes, but then it takes time to put them in, and
then you forget, what does that note mean, right?
And then I'm
after,
working on the next project, and then I get on the phone with Ann, and we talk about 4 more projects in one day that we just got, because there's some things that our members are doing,
right.
and we want to be supportive of them and be team up with them to do them, and yet finding out we can only be in so many places at one time.
Exactly.
And needing to delegate and bring in other people to help do things also.
And funny, it's like simple with getting these 100 nominations has been insane.
Yeah.
And so how we've been able to do that is connecting with people who have really huge networks, and it has to be people that we trust.
Right.
And Courtney went on and created this fabulous form on the website. So you go on the website and boom, 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 it's done. I don't have to collect any data. I just send you to the nonprofitsectorfoundation.org/nominations. You fill it in.
The magic. Wait, you said that awfully fast.
Okay. Nonprofitsectorfoundation.org/nominations.
There you
And
go.
then an email immediately comes to me, and I know they're nominated, and then I
Right.
can decide, is that a person who we wanna, give this to or not.
That's great.
So it saves me time.
That's great. I did want to talk about our monthly mixers that we have with Wima. We have them the third Thursday of every month normally, unless there's another special event that we do that month. Our next one is at the Sammy's Wood-Fired Grill over on West Sahara. I don't have the exact address, but it is on our website. And we are going to, what Sammy's is doing is they, anybody that comes in to eat from 11 to 4 or 6 to 9 on September the 20th, then they will get a little package. They have to bring in their ticket though, so they have to go online to get it from WimaFoundation.org, I guess. And then what they do is they bring in their ticket and they have their meal, and then they get a little bag with a little treat in it from Sammy's. And then 20% of whatever is sold that day to the customers goes back to Wima from Sammy's. And that's one of the ways that they help other foundations. So that's September 20th at Sammy's Wood-Fired Grill over on West Sahara. And that is right across from the station.
You can walk right over there.
That's right, it's across the street. And that's on September the 20th from 11 to 4 and from 6 to 9. So from 6 to 9 is when we'll be having our mixer, actually, and we'll be having, we're going to be playing some games there.
Yay.
And talking about how you can create ideas for what Wima means to you and different opportunities that we can do together. So, Joni,
Yes.
what would you like to talk about right now?
Well, we do have another signature event coming up in October. It's called the Golden Hand Service Awards, and this is our opportunity to reach back and recognize those who are making a difference in the community. And we have 6 recipients that we will be honoring that evening: Lori Wilmot, Reggie Bennett, Susan Molaski, Frank Hawkins, Janet Bronson, and school principal Ms. Paula Nagel of Belleville.
Oh, that's great. So that's coming up on
Wednesday, October 17th, 5:30 to 8 p.m. at the Culinary Training Academy.
Great. All right, well, we're going to take a brief pause and we'll be right back. This is Women in Music and Arts, empowering artists of all ages through education and mentorship. We'll see you in a few minutes. My name is Sandy Castell, and we're broadcasting live from Las Vegas every Wednesday at noon on KLAV AM 1230 on your dial and streaming online at KLAV1230am.com. Our show today has been sponsored by members of Women in Music and Arts, and my guests have been the founder of the Cultural Diversity Foundation, Joni Flowers, and Delivering Happiness Messenger, Amy Frost. And also we have a guest on this show that, Andrew, you never told me your last name. Deshane? Very French. Do you speak French? Oh, would you say something for our audience, to them about your art, or about your piano playing, or whatever? Say a little something to our audience then. In French, and you can do both. Do French and then do English. There you go. Thank you. Okay, so where can people find out about your music and what you're doing and where you're performing, Andrea? Perfect. Okay, and do you have samples of your playing on there, your tracks on there, of your music? This year? That's great. Now, where do you record your projects? What do you use? GarageBand, or do you use Pro Tools? Right. Well, Apple, that's really a great program, you know, that you can use. I have Pro Tools, But and even Pro Tools has a very reasonable program that can be used for a lot of for a lot of recording, and yeah. So but GarageBand then they came out with, and that has probably taken away some of that business because it's made it very easy to use a lot of instrumentation and stuff. So Andrea, in your heart, what does Wima mean to you? Thank you. Well, you can always start up a chapter out there, in LA. We've got a few members out there now, so yeah, and we've been talking about eventually getting that happening. So we'll keep you in touch on how to do that. Okay. All right. So again, they can go to Andrea Ann, but it's Andre. Yeah, and then, right, so you're pronouncing it AndreanMusic.com. There we go, AndreeAnn music.com. Okay, Joni, you've got some ticket giveaways, I see.
Yeah, we are going to give away 6 pair of tickets on your program, and you can do that at your convenience.
Okay, great. And people can call in to get the tickets?
They can call in to get tickets, and if you'd like to purchase tickets, they're $20 in advance and $30 at the door. You can purchase them online at cdfnv.org/artistvision, or simply give the Cultural Diversity Foundation a call at 702-646-2615.
Okay, great. That number again is 702-646-2615.
Yes.
Okay, great. And that is for next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday,
September
12th, 5:30 to 8 p.m. at the Las Vegas City Hall Grand Lobby.
Okay, great. And Amy, where can we find out more about what it is?
Well, what I want to talk about the Bronx Cares,
yes,
the Oprah magazine, and the foundation Stepping Into Your Shoes of Purpose and Walking for Good awards. And we're looking for 100 women, and what they have in common, they step up and step out for what they believe. They see what needs done and they do it. They're smart and creative. They use their heads and their hearts in tandem. They give and they give and they give. They need to be valued and appreciated. So you can get Amy at amyfrost.com. You can email me. That might be the easiest, and I'll tell you what you need to do.
Okay, amyfrost.com.
Amy at amyfrost.com.
Amy at
So we need 100 amazing women that are connected to 100 amazing causes.
All right, great. Sounds good. And then our next Wima mixer is going to be at Sammy's Wood-Fired Grill at 6500 West Sahara. That's 6500 West Sahara, which is right across the street from the KLAB radio station where we're on right now. And you can come on out, go to the Wima Foundation to get your tickets, and we'll be sending out e-blasts and things on Facebook. But get your tickets, print them out, bring them with you, and then take them to Sammy's at 6500 West Sahara on September the 20th. Between 11 to 4 and 6 to 9 is our mixer. So join us, please, for our mixer. We'd love to have you come on out. We'll have a lot of the Wima members there, and we'll be talking about the different opportunities that Wima has to support the arts and get a little creative. So that's September 20th at Sammy's Wood-Fired Grill for the next Wima mixer. We hope to see you there, and we hope to hear you and see, or for you to hear us and for you to listen in every Wednesday on KLAB 1230 AM and streaming online at KLAB1230am.com. We are Wima, W-I-M-A, Women in Music and Arts, empowering artists of all ages through education and mentorship. And you can find out more about us at wimafoundation.org. That's W-I-M-A foundation.org. See you next week.